news. All right, so this is the story about how the time I almost got arrested. So this story starts, oddly enough, in a philosophy class. So I was taking this class, and I was debating whether to take the 8 a.m. class or the 11 o'clock class. Same instructor, same classroom, same everything. So I ended up taking the 11 o'clock class, so like I'd rather take that than the 8 a.m. class, right? And in that class, there, before class, I would chat with people around me, and behind me there were these guys, BJ, Poof, and Jerome. And I got to know them. We would chat. And BJ, he was actually, his actual name was Josh. But I guess on his freshman dorm floor, there were like 3 Joshes, and since he was black, he went by Black Josh. And then there was Poof, and his last name was Poofall. I think it was Polish, and his real name was Robert, but I just know him as Poof. So anyway, so I got to chat with them. And Jerome, I really didn't know as much, but they were all roommates, so I don't know Jerome anymore. I didn't really become friends with Jerome, but he lived there, so I got to know him. Anyway, so about halfway through the semester, they're having a party at their house, and they said, "Hey, you should come." So I did. I went to their party. So I kept getting to know them. We became friends. So then one night, and this was after the class was over, we went to this place called the Fieldhouse. And this was the place on Friday nights. They had their $7 bottomless cup. And that's not important, but what happens every time their bar would close, the police would line up in the street outside of it because everyone would get into fights. So there would always fights break out after the Fieldhouse or whatever. So I was wanting to leave, and I got kind of separated from them. And I was wanting to leave, and so there's this fight going on, and I walked around the fight. But somehow they thought I was involved, so somebody grabs me and pushes me in the street, and then, but they actually pushed me into a couple girls and a female police officer. So I'm sitting in the line in the street, and BJ, I also didn't mention that he's also 6'5" and really large. I'm like lying in the street, and he picks me up, and I'm hugging my 6'5" security blanket. And then the police grabbed me and put me in the street with handcuffs, and I'm sitting there standing in the street saying, "Hey, I didn't have anything to do with this." They were like, "Oh, why is this fight breaking out?" And I said, "I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. There's my ride. I'm ready to go home." And they made me stand there long enough before they let me go. Right? Eventually, they couldn't. Getting pushed in the street isn't against the law. So they let me go, and I went home, and BJ and Poof made fun of me, but that's fine. So the moral of this story is, if you think about it, if I hadn't taken the 11th class and hadn't met BJ and Poof, and then ended up going to the Fieldhouse, I would not have been almost getting arrested on this night, right? So little changes in your life could have big consequences. So that's the moral of the story.